Hello, everyone. This is Coach Tim Campsall, and I'm excited to have a fellow business owner with us today. Something unique about my guest is he's the third of four Thomas Hauns, but they all have different middle names. And so we'll have him
Yes.
tell us a little bit about that here. In his downtime, he enjoys playing golf, and he is most proud of his family. It's my pleasure to welcome Thomas to the show today. Hey, Thomas.
Hey, Tim. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate that.
Well, let's start with a little bit of background info. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your full name, including your middle, because now we know that it's different. A bit of your personal story as well, like where you're born, live, and about your family.
Sure, sure. So, I got to start off with I've been married since 2009 to my wife, Michelle. My name is Thomas Patrick Haun. I have two children. One of them is a Thomas Haun. He's Thomas Ellis Haun. And the other is my daughter, Anna. Um, and then, so yeah, my dad is Thomas Haun and my granddad is Thomas Haun. My granddad's family is originally from Rockwood, Tennessee, so kind of out like eastern Tennessee, outside of Knoxville area.
Okay.
And then I grew up in Annapolis, Maryland, and so was an East Coast kid growing up. But I currently live in Bloomington, Indiana, and I moved here for Turner.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And golf.
Oh yeah.
Tell me
Love
about
playing
that.
golf.
Is it a love-hate relationship?
Um, Golf is never an easy thing. It's always a journey, right? So I would say I love it. To me, it is the time you get to spend both with friends, but also competing, and it's outdoors.
Yeah.
And so for me, that's like primo. The I would say the love hate side. I used to be a better golfer than I am currently. That's a little frustrating because I do not get to play as much as I would like to. However, anytime on a golf course is a great day, so I'm never going to complain.
That's awesome. Thomas, is there a funny story that your family likes to tell about you that you'd be willing to share with us today?
Oh boy, sure. There's several. Uh, probably, probably when I was really young, the best story that I could come up with is my grandmother, my mom's mom.
Mhm.
Her name. My mom's parents lived in Germany for a while post, kind of like during the Cold War, is the best way to describe it. And they lived in Heidelberg. And during that time, the German word for mother is Mutti.
Okay.
And so she basically adopted and became named Mutti, and everybody would call her Mutti. Well, I'm the first grandchild on that side of the family. So my grandmother would and my mother would try to get me to call her Mutti. And they would say things like, Thomas, say hot tea. And I would say hot tea, right? And I'm very young. I'm probably under two. And then they would point at my grandmother and they would say, now say moo tea. And I would shake my head and I would say, and I would say mamu. And so Mamu is the name of my grandmother. She's passed since, but that's the name of my grandmother.
Yeah.
So that gives you a little insight into how stubborn I was as a child. Uh, but also it stuck. And so actually all of the grandkids called, while she was alive, called my grandmother Mamu because I named her as the first grandchild.
That's
So that's
awesome.
a good one.
And of
Yeah,
course,
a lot of fun.
as you've grown up, that stubbornness has dissipated, correct?
Oh, totally, right? Totally. Don't we all age and mature? No, it's a good story because I think part of it tells obviously kind of just like the comedic aspect of it being this, sub 2 year old like naming my grandmother. But the fact that my grandmother owned it and then
Yes,
all of the other
yes.
grandkids went with it is really kind of fun.
You're an
We have a
influencer.
yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah, in the mid '80s, grandmom got named Mamu,
Yeah.
so that was a lot of fun.
So tell us, how did the business come about, and at what point did you have the confidence that you could run your own business?
Yeah. Keaton Turner started a company called Turner Mining Group, and Turner Staffing Group is really an outgrowth from that. Keaton and his business partner Gant started the company, Turner Mining Group, and I was kind of brought in to help Keaton really scale and grow the firm. And getting that experience, I did that for really 5 years until we then created Turner Staffing Group. Again, the three of us. So I would say that experience really led and gave me the confidence to be able to do it.
Yeah.
I also am very fortunate that both Keaton and Gant are great supporters of myself and believe in me, right? It takes a village.
Yeah.
That whole kind of transition from being a leader from one organization and then kind of really taking charge of a different organization, it is different, but I have the support that I've always had from them. And it has been a really good journey and something that I personally am very proud of. Just the team that we've been able to build on both sides of Turner when I was with Turner Mining, that side, but now also on the Turner Staffing side.
Yeah, very cool. So tell us a
Yeah.
little bit more about the company. You've said the
Yeah. So
name. What do you guys do? How do you help people?
Yeah, I made reference to this. So Turner Staffing Group is really an outgrowth of Turner Mining Group. Turner Mining Group is a field services company focused on the mining industry. So think doesn't own mines, but sends people and large equipment and goes and operates mines
Okay.
for other people that would own a reserve or something like that. We got really good at the people side of the business. So if you kind of just randomly Google, blue collar workforce, you're going to see things like, shrinking population, young people aren't interested in those roles, kind of a woe is me mindset towards a blue collar workforce. At Turner Mining Group, we all, but both Keaton and myself, really focused on building an engine that would provide young talent to support the growth that we knew Turner Mining Group was going to have.
Okay.
That started to, I'll say, get some interest from people in and around the industry. And clients actually started to ask us, hey, can you help us with this problem?
Mm.
And so when you have an asset, right, like a young talent pipeline that we were able to build and some market pull,
Yeah.
it's kind of a no-brainer that you should probably start this as a business. So that's really the backstory of how we got into it, and we've
Very
grown
cool.
it since. I'm very proud of the fact that we have folks spread from literally Miami, Florida, to Fairbanks, Alaska,
Oh,
and
wow.
everywhere in between.
Wow.
That is really credit to our team building deep relationships with candidates who want their next career step, and also with clients who really need you to not just understand a candidate pool, but
Mm.
understand how it fits really effectively
Mm.
with their business.
Yeah.
And so those two things paired together is probably the engine, if you want to think of it that
Yeah.
way, that really drives the results for Turner Staffing Group. But that was all started from Turner Mining Group.
That's cool that you started as an internal need and satisfying your own people requirements and
Yes.
then we're able to roll it out into its own business unit.
Yeah, and so we have people who really operate at all life cycles of a mine. So we have people who are doing exploration activity before the mine even is really technically a mine.
Uh-huh.
We have people doing mine development activity. So once enough exploration activity has proven a reserve, there's a
Hmm.
lot of activity that needs to happen to set up a mine, which is referred to as mine development. And then you have mine operation. So this is when
Sure.
you think of a mine, like
Yeah. Yeah.
what's happening every single day on an active mine site. And then you even have closure or remediation.
Hmm.
And so what most people don't necessarily know about mining is, you know, if a mine starts as a farm field, it kind of in the middle of nowhere, it actually ends up going all the way through the life cycle to come back to being a farm field.
Oh,
So
wow.
that the what is removed is just the reserve, and then everything is put back because in the United States we have regulation that
Oh,
requires that.
I did
And
not know.
so there is a full life cycle, and we are fortunate enough to have talent pipelines that assist with each stage of that life
Yeah.
cycle.
Yeah, very fascinating. Yeah, I did not realize that it got put back. That's very cool.
Yeah, it does. It's really cool, actually.
I'm just
It's
used to seeing the rock mines or sand, right, one where obviously it can't be put back because it's a big hole.
Yeah. Well, most of those are then turned into other use.
Okay.
So you oftentimes will have golf courses built on old quarries and rock mines, as you're referring to. You will have some of them will be turned into lakes,
Okay.
right? And kind of turned into like a recreation area,
Yep.
depending upon how large.
Yep.
Some are turned back into neighborhoods. The if that is the case, they're basically rebuilding the earth up
Sure.
to a certain grade to then put the
Sure.
neighborhood on top of it.
Yeah.
Um, some are turned into landfills.
Okay.
So it never should, now this does happen, but never should a mine just kind of sit empty and dormant
Yeah.
if the land has some economic value, which in the
Fascinating.
United States pretty much all land does.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It will come and have a kind of like a second use or a
Yeah.
second life,
Oh,
which is
that's
really cool.
fantastic. Yeah, that's wonderful. Huh. So, Thomas, we know that business success, at various stages, businesses can get stuck or get challenged in growing the business. So, tell us
For
about
sure.
what your biggest challenge has been over the years, and maybe somebody that came alongside you and helped you through that.
Sure. I'll begin with our focus has always been in and around the individual, the person, the people that make everything happen at Turner. Our core values originally were three: having a heart for people, having an eye for safety,
Mm.
having a mind for innovation.
Yeah.
And where I'll get to, I'll tell you the fourth in a second, but this is kind of how I would answer the question of where challenges arise. I think challenges arise primarily at their core at the individual level.
Mm.
And when we are not doing as leaders a good job setting the right expectations for the team.
Uh,
Those three core values are amazing core values, and they create a nice three-legged stool. However, it's better to have a four-legged stool in many situations. Okay. And we were realizing as a leadership team, Keaton in particular helped with this, but really it was a team effort. We were realizing there's another expectation we need to set with our people.
Mm.
And it is really in how they show up every
Mm.
day, right? You can show up having a heart for people. You can show up having an eye for safety. You can show up having a mind for innovation. And you still might not be achieving what we think
Mm.
your goals should be. There are many, many books that talk on this, but Good to Great, Atomic Habits,
Sure.
there is this attitude,
Yeah.
and this is where I'm leading into what the fourth core
Yeah.
value is.
Yeah.
There is this attitude that we believe is it's an attitude for excellence,
Mm.
where not no we're not saying perfection because
Yeah.
none of us are perfect,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we very much know that at Turner. What we're saying is your attitude is for excellence. So
Mm.
how you show up,
Yeah.
what you're focused on, what you're trying to achieve, how you're limiting distractions, all of those, frankly, how you're limiting items that could prevent excellence,
Yeah.
all of those kind of ways in which we show up, we believe, and especially from a leadership team, believe that that's critical. And so our challenge was people were living those first three core values
Mm.
and they still weren't necessarily asking the right thing of themselves.
Yeah. Yes.
And that attitude for excellence is what we believe is asking the right thing of yourself every day, whether that's personal or professional, by the way.
Yeah.
I think our four core values should apply to someone's whole life, which is
Sure.
why they're focused at the individual level. And we realized without that fourth core value, we weren't setting the right expectation as
Yeah.
leaders.
Yeah.
And so that was probably the biggest challenge. And this is probably we probably realized this coming out of COVID, so like
Okay.
2021.
Yeah.
And then obviously we founded Turner Staffing Group in 2022. So it was a very quick, okay,
Yes.
we're going to add this into Turner Mining Group, and we are going to now set this expectation as the case inside of Turner Staffing Group. So that's probably the biggest
I love it. Yeah.
item that I think is at its core. Leaders need to set the right expectations for their team. And what I think you can do that through core values. And I believe that it allows people to make now decisions day to day or even task to task
Yeah.
that align with the company's values, which we hope, promote them to be the most successful version of
Yeah.
themselves.
What I love about what you're sharing is you took culture or values and beliefs seriously, right? And did the work and
Yes.
figured out that you were missing one and where a lot of companies will, if they do have core values, they just will quickly put a list together and put it in the employee handbook
Yes.
and it's such an important element to having a successful team is because as you were just alluding to, if you don't have a cultural fit with the employees and what you need as an organization, it just doesn't work. So you sharing,
Correct.
you realize that that fourth one was missing is such a huge aha.
Yeah. It we all, and I've worked for large corporations before, and we all hear horror stories about kind of things just being put in a handbook or put on the wall and never
Yeah.
lived. We actually had a pretty active debate about whether we wanted to add a fourth,
Hmm.
which is interesting, right? I think we came to the right conclusion, and having the fourth is the right thing, especially around somebody's attitude. But it wasn't necessarily a slam dunk that we were going to add one
Sure.
because our culture was founded in those values. People
Yeah.
speak about them all the time. We reward employees based on them living our values.
Sure.
And and so to add a fourth, we knew was a big deal, right?
Yeah.
It was going to kind of evolve the culture of the firm. And we knew at the time we were going to start Turner Staffing Group.
Yeah.
And so what foundation did we want laid?
Yeah.
And I was, again, I'm very proud of our core values. I think they hit the right tone, especially for our people who really make everything happen day to day
Yeah.
and frankly drive all the results in the business. That ad was a critical one. And I'm really glad that we were able to make
It's
the
awesome.
decision and then do the correct rollout with the correct explanations and
Yeah.
take the time and truly invest into that.
Yeah.
I'm proud of how we handled that as a leadership team.
Awesome. Thomas, I'm going to put you on the spot here and ask
Sure.
you to pick three people in your business owner journey that you're most grateful for them being there to help with the business's growth. So who are those three people and how'd they help you?
Yeah. I have to start with my wife. um, any anytime you take on any journey like this,
Hmm.
you need a firm partnership at home.
Yes.
And that's because they get to see you at your best and at your worst.
Yep.
And if it wasn't for her being truly supportive of me in every way possible, I could not do this. So
Awesome.
that is
Love it.
first and
Yes.
foremost number one. I'll pick Keaton number two. He took a chance on me joining Turner Mining Group to begin with.
Yeah.
He did not know me beforehand,
Hmm.
and to put me into a leadership role and really help build the organization from there, that's really amazing.
Yeah.
And then, in addition to that, he took all of that kind of trust and gave it to the next level, which was saying, hey, you're going to now go run this other company with my name on it.
Yeah.
Because it does say Turner on our
Yeah.
logos, right? And
Yeah.
that is his last name. And that amount of trust, we talk all the time. We're like brothers from another mother. I mean,
Yeah.
it is awesome. So I'll highlight him second, and then I'll highlight somebody on the team who I think has just been standout for years. So obviously, as a staffing firm, we have to have a great recruiting function to go create the
Yes,
relationships with
right.
the candidates, manage relationships with people who are running projects where we're going and deploying people. And I'll highlight a gentleman by the name of Tim McElroy. Tim has been a recruiter for Turner Mining Group originally, and
Okay.
then made the transition to being a recruiter for Turner Staffing Group, then serving Turner Mining Group. But he doesn't just serve Turner Mining Group. He serves Turner Mining Group. He serves other clients for Turner Staffing Group.
Okay.
And if it wasn't for his personal drive, his personal growth,
Mm.
um, he started as kind of like I wouldn't say entry level recruiter, but I'll call it like an associate level
Okay.
recruiter, right? Kind
Sure.
of like first step after entry level. And he's now a director.
That's
He has been
awesome.
on this journey with Keaton and I since 2019, I believe.
Wow.
Um, so I always want to make sure that we highlight some people that are in the organization and doing things like that. There are plenty of other names that I could give you. Um,
That's the part
John,
where I say
Joe,
I'm
Jeff, right?
right.
Right.
That's where I
Right.
say I'm going to put you on the spot, right? Because it's so hard to
Correct.
only pick three.
Correct. Well, and the best part is, and part of why I highlight Tim is all of the people that have been a part of the Turner journey, they all owe a lot to Tim themselves
Mhm.
too.
Yeah.
So he's a very easy person to highlight because if it weren't for him, we definitely would not have had the success we have had to date. And we for sure would not have the track record of building these large workforces
Yeah.
and then being able to deploy them all over the country. He does a great job.
Awesome. Um, I'd love to hear a little bit about um, your learning. So we know that the path to success has a lot to do with both our mindset and our learning along the way. So what's been your
Sure.
biggest learning as an owner?
I think when, as they say, stuff hits the fan,
Yeah.
it is critical to know what your identity is and where your foundation is.
Mm,
Um, you know, I think there are lots of things of this world that will pull at you, nag at you, frankly, give you anxiety, depress you. And I am not an anxious person, nor am I an individual who has ever been described as depressed. I am always described as Mr. Positive, but there's a reason behind that. And that foundation and belief, and Keaton and I have used the word like eternal perspective, right? We are both Christians.
Yeah.
That is a very important grounding. I talked about my wife being first and foremost kind of the most important influence, kind of here
Yeah.
in supporting me. But I would say if it weren't for my faith,
Yeah.
I don't know how I would deal with the ups and downs,
Mm,
right? Because, you know, when everything is ultimately your accountability, which I believe that as a leader of an
yeah.
organization, no
Yeah.
matter what we do wrong, that's on me,
Yeah.
right? And to know that and know that we will not be perfect
Yeah.
and to be okay with that and to say, hey, I'm signing up for the next one. Let's go get this next thing. And yes, there's going to be lots of learnings. And yes, there's going to be lots of challenges.
Yeah.
And yes, we're going to have to make trade offs. And to still be able to go through that with a positive outlook
Mm,
because, but, whether Turner Staffing Group is the greatest thing ever or the worst thing ever, it is not where my value lies and it is not my identity.
yeah.
That's probably the biggest lesson learned because in a lot of ways the world does associate the firm with me
Yeah.
and rightly or wrongly, especially on the wrongly when we do things wrong,
Yeah.
I got to own that and still keep a positive outlook.
And to your point, it can be very lonely at the top, and the roller coaster ride can be very,
Sure.
can beat us up. And so, yeah, having that foundation, knowing our true identity in Christ, and and being able to hold on to that, and I don't know about you, but sometimes that is also a little bit of a roller coaster, right? My
Oh, for
belief,
sure.
right, is stronger sometimes versus others, but being able to
Yeah. Doubt. It's so
refocus on
funny.
that. Right?
Yeah, I forget who said this, but it's some famous quote that basically says doubt is actually proof that there is underlying faith or belief.
Mm.
So it's
Wow.
not that we shouldn't doubt. It's not that we shouldn't question. In many ways, we should, right? And hopefully that will solidify our belief
Yeah.
in our faith.
Yeah.
And knowing that doubt isn't the absence of those things, it's the testing of those things. I
Yes.
think that's a really powerful way to
I
look
love
at it
that.
because you
Yeah.
are right. From any faith journey, but mine included, there are ups and downs just like there are in life.
Yeah.
And again, being able to remind yourself of that is a great foundation that I think can be a really powerful tool,
Mm.
especially in the lonely moments, especially when you feel like, man, all I've gotten today is bad news. And yet I'm going to wake up tomorrow, right? And even through the bad news, I'm going to kind of keep a positive outlook
Yeah.
because my identity is not rooted in how
Yeah.
successful the firm is.
Yeah. I love it. Awesome. Thomas,
Yeah.
as you think about the next year, where's an area that either you're currently feeling stuck or you know that or you'd like to move faster to achieve your long-term vision?
I mean, at Turner, we always think about scale,
Hmm.
right? Where are the organizational bottlenecks
Sure.
that prevent us from getting to create the impact that we want? I
Right.
talked about our four core values, but I'll talk about our mission and our vision here for a second. So, our mission is, or our purpose, if you want to think of it that way, is to make life better for the backbone of America.
I
That's
love
a
that.
big mission, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And how does Turner Staffing Group envision that? So this is kind of the vision side, envision that. And what does that mean? Like, what are we chasing towards? We want to be the bridge that connects good people to great opportunities.
Yeah.
And so when I think about that, and I think about, Turner as a whole is, I don't know, a little over 500 people right now, which is great. And that's amazing. And
Yeah.
I'm very, again, we're blessed beyond belief in that way.
Yeah.
But if we really want to be this bridge, I want to be the bridge for a lot more than 500 people. And
Love it.
so it's why we think about scale, because from an impact perspective, for us to have the impact that we believe
Yeah.
we can,
Yeah.
we need to go achieve this.
Yeah.
And so I think, what does that mean tactically from a challenge perspective? How do we make more people aware of what we can do to bring their business value from a talent perspective?
Mhm.
How do we then build the right partnerships and relationships that allow us to not just serve the good people,
Yeah.
but also serve those great firms that contain opportunities and do a really solid job at that? So, those bottlenecks can pop up from awareness to having the right partnership to making sure all of our processes are best practice and efficient, you
Yeah.
know, and we're on a continuous improvement journey across those.
Yeah.
Where we are in, kind of Q4 of 25, like is light years from where we were in Q4 of 24 and is
Yeah.
light years from Q4 of
Yeah.
23, right?
Yeah.
So we are improving, but that continuous improvement mindset, that excellence mindset, we have a
Sure.
long way to go. And we know that. And our team wants to sign up for that. They believe in
Awesome.
that purpose, they believe in that vision, and they want to have that impact,
Yeah.
let alone grow a company and have a lot of fun along the way. But we have put together a really great core team that is focused on being that bridge and serving those good people well and serving those great opportunities well.
I love it. That is awesome. Yeah. That that impact and legacy idea, right? Of as you shared your purpose, it's so big, right? As it should be, right?
Yeah,
It's so big that can almost feel unachievable. But that's the
yeah,
whole
and that's
reason to
okay.
have right.
Exactly.
That's the whole reason for it to continue to motivate and drive you guys. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Thanks for
I don't
sharing.
ever want to create a purpose or a mission or even a vision in some senses that can ever be fully achieved,
Yeah.
right? If we were to do that, I'd be disappointed
Yeah.
because 10 years down the road or 20 years down the road, when we achieve it, we're
Yeah.
going to look around at each other and go, well, what's next?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't want that. I want something that is kind of horizon creating, right? Where it's like, hey, we are running towards this.
Yeah.
And frankly, you can never get to the horizon, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And knowing that it shapes our decisions,
Yeah.
and knowing that it influences why people get out of bed every morning and do a great job every single day.
Yes. Yes.
That to me is the special sauce that sits behind what
Yes.
Turner Staffing is at
Mm.
its core. Not just what it does as a business, not just its day-to-day activities, not even just the people. What it is at its core is that purpose and that vision and those core values. And if we can deliver on that, I know we will have great impact, whether it's for 500,
Yeah.
5,000, 50,000, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We want to have that impact at its core
Yeah.
for the reach that we're given.
Yeah. A good litmus test, and you just alluded to it, is, on the bad days, right? Can you think about your purpose and go, all right, I got to get out of bed because that's exciting.
Yes, exactly.
Last question, Thomas. Jim Rohn said that we become the average of the five people that we spend the most time with. So as you think about
Yep.
that quote, and business owners who are feeling overwhelmed or discouraged or frustrated, what advice would you have for those people who are trying to figure it all out on their own?
Yeah, well, first, don't try to figure it out on your own. I've already made reference to how impactful my wife has been, and that obviously is one. Should your spouse is one by definition one of the closest people from five people in your circle. So picking your right life partner who is signed up for this journey and wants to contribute and support,
Yeah.
critical. In addition to that, I've made reference to Keaton, right? Without him, we would not have built any of this.
Yeah.
And so having him in my corner and in my circle is critical.
Yeah.
In addition to that, we have other key leaders on the team. I kind of like routed off a couple names there. They are incredible individuals, each and every one of them. I love having them in my circle. In addition to that, and maybe this is the piece that I think, you can maybe have a good partner in your business, you can have a great spouse, you can have great people on your leadership team. I do think having some style of like peer group
Mm.
is probably the other hack that I would point out.
Mm.
As you and I have discussed previously, I'm a member in an organization called C12. It's a cohort of business leaders, and 12 of them ideally, and they're sitting around a table every single month. We are talking about how to get better. We're going through curriculum about our business. We're going through curriculum about the impact our business is having in the
Right.
world. And to have other business leaders who feel just as lonely,
Yeah.
who need to have some type of foundation and internal perspective, who are hopefully have a great and healthy relationship with their spouse,
Yeah.
to have those people around the table who aren't in your industry,
Yeah.
aren't in your space, don't see your day to day as a way to challenge you, kind of an iron sharpens iron thing,
Hmm.
but also importantly to support you because they know how lonely it is
Yeah.
themselves. That is an important hack. And I think if we don't do a good job of getting into some type of cohort or peer group, even with a great spouse, even with a great business partner, even with a great leadership team, those people are all on the inside.
Mm.
I think you do need some people on the outside that you are close with
Yeah.
and are transparent with who can speak in and again, either kind of sharpen you or support you.
Yeah. It can be very easy to get stuck in our head of, right, I'm not good enough, or I'm not going to be able to figure this out, or maybe I'm not cut out, right? And so that lonely at the top, right? Being able
Yes.
to chat with other people who truly get it,
Yes.
and you go, yeah, you know what, I have that problem too, but and last year, and here's, and we got through it. It's like, oh my goodness, there's a way through it. or
Correct.
or oh, I
Correct.
thought I was the only one that was having these doubts and fears. You have doubts and fears too. Oh, wow. Okay, great.
Yeah.
I'm just
There is
human.
a yeah, there's a lot in shared experience, right? And you're highlighting that. And so when you can, with the right group of people, because that group is critical,
Yeah.
with the right group of people where you can talk about shared experience, man, it's cathartic.
Indeed. Thomas, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today. Um, in
Thanks, Tim.
closing here, I just want to ask you, you mentioned a number of people who have been part of your journey. I would say that, you've been blessed with having these folks in your life. If they were all
Oh,
here
for
on the
sure.
show today, what would you want to say to them?
That's a great question. Probably the first two words are thank you.
Mhm.
Uh, without, I've said this, but without them, we would not have been able to achieve what we have achieved thus far. And the second thing I would say, let's keep it going.
I love it. Fantastic. Well, again, Thomas, thanks so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to the Self-Made is a Myth show. Please help spread this movement by liking and subscribing to our show and following us on Facebook and LinkedIn. To join our movement, go to bemadtogether.com. Okay, folks, that's a wrap. Please pay it forward and be sure to tune in next time to the Self-Made is a Myth podcast.